Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Talk. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Talk. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Let the truth talk to 'em. Talk.
Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Truth Talks. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Krayzie Bone.
What's happening with it? I'm the co-host, the bum, Keith G.
And right about now, it's time to get into another one of those grown folk conversations, you know what I'm saying? First of all, I would like to say, shout out to all our viewers, followers, and listeners out there. Thank you for your support.
Yes.
And make sure y'all follow us on Truth Talks on IG at Truth Talks 99.
That's right.
Truth Talks 99.
Oh, yeah. Hey, yo, y'all brought us over 500,000 views on this one, too, man, on that last one we did, man.
Yes.
So on the reels from the heart, man, we really thank y'all for all the comments. We read all those, too, over 10,000 comments.
I didn't read all of them, but I read some of them.
Yeah, we don't keep it on 100. I didn't read all of them, but we read most of them, man. And thank you for being positive, and thank you for supporting the show, and thank you for really seeking the truth and finding it right here on this show, and doing your own homework to make sure that we just ain't lying to y'all about nothing. So thank you for rocking with us, y'all.
Real talk. Oh, and something else I just want to say to y'all before we get started, you know, we appreciate the emails and everything, but you know what I'm saying, just to let y'all know, we is not starting no cult, you know what I'm saying, we not putting together no militia, you know what I'm saying, we not trying to go to war with nobody, you know what I'm saying, so, because I've been getting some crazy emails, bro. Like,
oh, yeah.
People like they're ready to like go to war or something like.
Nah, we just trying to just sprinkle some truth.
No, that didn't work. No. We waking y'all. It's time to wake up. Most definitely, it's time to wake up and change our, you know, like maybe change the course and stay more alert. And you know, like look out and make sure you watching what they doing. But you know, like we said, you know what I'm saying. This war is gonna be won by God.
Strictly.
But jumping right into tonight's topic, it's another follow-up on the origins of these man-made holidays. You know what I'm saying? If you've been following our show, you already know we talked about Halloween, we talked about Thanksgiving, and since a lot of people just got finished indulging in the most wonderful time of the year, why not talk about Christmas? The biggest fraud of them all.
Man.
The biggest fraud of them all. That's right, I said it. Frauds. Now, Christmas is probably the most most festive out of all the holidays. It's hands down the most popular, and no doubt it's the most expensive.
Definitely.
You know, and people got their different reasons for celebrating Christmas, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's because of the religious beliefs, you know, that it represents Jesus' birthday, or that is, you know, or you just celebrate it because you feel like it's a time to get together with your family and friends. And then you got the people that just do it just for the hell of it, you know what I'm saying? They just do it just because everybody else doing it. They just doing it for a good time to get drunk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Kick it and just be festive, I guess. But let's start off with the belief that December 25th was the actual birthday of Jesus. So we know that Christmas for a long time has been described as a traditional festival to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. But the problem is with that is that's simply not the truth.
Yeah.
You know, if you actually read the Bible, then you know that it makes no mention of the date that Jesus was born. Nowhere. So it kind of makes you wonder, you know, why did this December 25th date become associated with his birthday?
That's a good question, man. Let's rock with that. I want to know too. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause it's doing research from it and things like that. You do find different things, man. So let's educate.
Now, I was researching some articles, and I found some good articles on the jw.org website. You can look them up yourself. You know what I'm saying? It was one titled "What's Wrong with Christmas Customs." Excuse me. So, like we said, you know, millions of people all around the world, you know, they celebrate this holiday. But do they really know the true meaning, the origins behind this very popular holiday? Like we ask y'all all the time, do you know the meaning of these holidays that you celebrate? These very, very popular holidays.
Oh, that is true. Not even stop right there, because we do a lot of things, even down to Columbus Day. We celebrate. A lot of people just happy to get off work. A lot of people happy to, get whatever they're going to get for that holiday and really don't know the origins of it. We sometimes, complacently just fall into, being a victim of celebrating what somebody else did. It could be something that was a murderous situation, and, down the line years later, we celebrating that thing, and, with, popping bottles about it. So, we is undereducated about things,
Yeah, real talk. So for a very long time, a lot of people believe that Christmas represented the day that Jesus was born. So this paragraph says, second paragraph says, for one thing, there is a myth of Santa Claus, the modern day jolly, white-bearded, rosy-cheeked, red-suited Santa is known to have been a successful Christmas advertisement created for a North American beverage company in 1931. During the 1950s, some Brazilians tried to replace Santa Claus with a native legendary figure, Grandpa Indian. The result, Santa Claus not only defeated Grandpa Indian, but even defeated the child Jesus and became the official representative of the feast of December 25th, says Professor Carlos Fantinati. But are myths such as Santa Claus the only problem with Christmas? For the answer, let us go back to early Christianity.
Man.
So, this Santa Claus character was originally created as a Christmas advertisement for a beverage company back in 1931. And I guess the image just stuck in everybody's head. As a matter of fact, they said the image stuck in everybody's head so tough that it beat out the little Indian, Grandpa Indian, and Jesus. It beat Jesus out, and it's supposed to be
his birthday.
Yeah.
Or celebration.
So that let you know how serious they was taking it.
Yeah. That's branding way back then. That 1930s company, beverage company talking about is Coca-Cola. In actuality, Coca-Cola took their colors actually from the red and white that was portrayed by the Saint Nick or whatever it was, to go on and have a lot of the colors in their color scheme that is still today.
True talk. True talk. Reading on in the article says, during the first 2 centuries of Christianity, there was a strong opposition to recognizing birthdays of martyrs, or for that matter, of Jesus, states the Encyclopedia Britannica. Why? Christians viewed birthday celebrations as a pagan custom, something to be avoided altogether. In fact, no mention of the date of Jesus' birth can be found in the Bible.
I'm not going to front, too. I've looked. Not that I was looking for that, what I'm saying, but I read the Bible, all the time, and I, of course, ask the Lord for insight whenever I'm reading it anyway. I don't pick it up like it's just no random book. But I've never seen a December 25th or anything like that portrayed in there, So,
and
that's true.
And this is something else. A lot of people don't even know. We ain't even supposed to be celebrating the birthdays. Not our friends, not ours, not our friends, not our mothers, fathers, siblings, relatives. The celebrating of birthdays also originated with pagan beliefs and customs. A lot of people don't even know that, because again, it's just something normal that was normalized, and everybody just grew accustomed to it. And the cycle just continues.
And you know how it continues on, because just like how Christmas would do too, I see how it could make sense, but when you base something off giving somebody something, a child ain't gonna turn that down. You know what I'm saying? Like how we say, we ain't gonna turn down nothing but our collar,
Especially a kid.
Yeah, so you like, I'm finna give you something every year, and most lower income, like how we grew up,
but just what I'm saying? But if you look, but yeah, that's true.
We looking for something.
But as a child, you can give a child a gift on any day, and they ain't gonna know the difference.
And now when something like that is implemented into their life, and not just no special day like that, because actually every day should be a special day, not just one day. You know what I'm saying? Even when we come to, and this is just off the subject, but even when we come to worshiping our God, I don't wait till I get to Sunday. So some people say Saturday, 7-day Adventist, or Sunday, or whatever it is. I tell God, thank you every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm glad, and I worship Him every day. Like, hey, thank you for letting me be here. It may not be no long prayer, this and that, but it shouldn't just be one day. So go ahead, Face.
Continuing in the paragraph, it says, in the 4th century CE, despite the stand taken by early Christians against the custom of celebrating birthdays, the Catholic Church instituted Christmas. The church wanted to strengthen its position by removing one of the main obstacles in its way, the popularity of the pagan Roman religions and their winter solstice festivals. Each year, from December 17th through January 1st, most Romans feasted, gamed, reveled, paraded, and joined in other festivities as they paid homage to their deities. Says Christmas in America by Pene Aristide. And on December 25th, the Romans celebrated the birth of the invincible sun, instituting Christmas on that day. The church cajoled many Romans into celebrating the birth of Jesus instead of the birth of his son. So, from the very beginning, this pagan holiday was like built on myths.
Yeah.
Santa Claus is not a real person.
No.
He's not dashing through the snow.
Not with one horse open sleigh.
With 12 with 12 reindeers delivering presents to all the kids all over the damn world. Okay? It's not Jesus' birthday, nor does it have anything to do with anything spiritual, like they tried to make it. The churches was basically trying to get the Romans to stop celebrating their pagan festivities, only to have them participate in theirs. That's basically what they was doing. It's kind of like they was tricking them into celebrating Christmas, telling them a lie that it was Jesus' birthday. And you know they ain't tripping. They like, hey, do we still get to drink?
Yeah, you know.
Do we still get to drink and do we still get to party?
Yeah.
All right, we'll take it. Let's do it. Basically.
Yeah, that's how a lot of them. That's how a lot of things start off. Just like that, well, you know, because it's a party, it's a celebration. Like some of these things, when I look back and did the research on these, some of these were like Mardi Gras events. You know, a lot of things like that. They had a lot of little.
Mardi Gras something else. Just like
even with these, they were doing Mardi Gras like things way back then. You know, for celebrating for Christmas kind of things. And you know, if you did or didn't, I forget which one it was, but you would be. It was that so long they would tax you 5 shillings if you didn't celebrate it or did celebrate it. So y'all do the research on that to find that part out though. But
so it's also interesting to know that you know, like did a lot of churches back then, they was totally against celebrating Christmas and all these days. You know what I'm saying? I read another article that I found. It was like it was what you should know about Christmas.
Okay.
And it had a subheading under the subheading of Christmas banned. And this was back in the days. It said, if you take a few moments to research this subject, you will find that Christmas has no root in true Christianity. Many Bible scholars of various religious denominations acknowledge this. With that in mind, it should not surprise you that in England, Cromwell's Parliament decreed in 1647 that Christmas be a day of penance, and then banned it outright in 1652. Parliament purposely met on December 25th every year from 1614 to 1656. According to historian Pene Aristide, ministers who preached on the nativity risk imprisonment. Church wardens face fines for decorating their churches.
Damn.
By law, shops stayed open on Christmas as if there were any regular business day. Why such drastic measures? Puritans reformers believed that church should not create traditions that did not exist in the scriptures. They actively preached and distributed literature denouncing Christmas celebration. So,
I can understand that though.
So, you know, like, even they didn't talk. It's something that like just kind of snuck in. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't gonna lie. I looked at it like how we saying. I looked at it as a child in those kind of selfish ways, as I'm gonna get something. But it wasn't until I got older till I was able to realize, you know what? If we gonna celebrate this thing as looking at it as our Savior's birthday, as far as him being born on earth, because he always existed with God, But if it's going to be something like that, because my grandmother, for instance, and I'll be short with this too, my grandmother was born late 1800s, so like 1897 or something like that. Times where the birth certificates wasn't just being well kept. She was one of 20 kids. Back then they had a gang of kids. So, she lost her birth records. But what they did, my mom and them did years later, they made her a birthday, after her children got together and stuff like that, because she didn't have no birth certificate, So they got together and made her a birthday so they could honor her on that day. You know what I'm saying? And I understand what you're saying about birthdays not supposed to be for folks and things like that, because all honor does go to God, and that's real. You know what I'm saying? But they made her a day like that, so I could see what they're trying to do with the Christmas thing. I don't know. I have no idea when Jesus was born on earth. But if they choose the 25th to want to celebrate it, I'm looking at it like I participate in that as being older, not for the gift exchange, but thinking about my Lord on that day. I don't have to go to the mall and stress myself out about what I can get this person or that person, because my mind state's no longer there.
But it's just like the directions. If a person leaves you directions just going to save your life, and they didn't mention you doing something, you should follow it to the T, because this is going to save your life.
Word.
You shouldn't do no more, no less.
Oh, yeah.
You should follow it to the T. So I understand what they want to do, but they've been misinformed. That has to change.
And that's true. That's true, because that's one thing Jesus did say. One thing he did was implemented when he had with his 12 disciples, the originals that he had with him. He broke the bread and he had the cup. And what he did was say, do this to remember me, to remember my sacrifice. So you're right about that. He didn't say nothing about the day that I came here to be born, celebrate that. He said, do this. So as often as you do this, you remember my sacrifice I did on Calvary. Exactly. So that was the program, and that still is the program that he implemented to them and to the ones that would come. So you're right about that.
Exactly. And this is what it says in McClintock's and Strong's encyclopedia. It says, the observance of Christmas is not a divine appointment, nor is it of the New Testament origin. The day of Christ's birth cannot be ascertained from the New Testament, or indeed from any other source on earth. So there are no books or publications, scrolls, or transcripts that contain information that can tell us the exact date that Jesus was born. Why people put so much emphasis on it, I don't know. It just doesn't exist. But if people tell you they have proof of this, it's a lie. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
The reason that his actual birthday was never mentioned is because if you think about it, there really was no. If you think about it, it really was no significance in him being born, other than he was the Savior. Yes, that was the only significance of him being born. You know what I'm saying? When he was because if you think about it, what miracles or sermons did Jesus perform when he was a baby?
None.
You know what I'm saying? Like, see people run around with a nativity like display of Jesus born in the manger. You know what I'm saying? A little baby Jesus, but he didn't perform no miracles or do anything until he was old enough to understand
33 years
and
old.
remember what his purpose was, what he was sent down here for.
At 33.
So, he didn't do nothing like spectacular,
At 30,
amazing.
I'm sorry.
As baby Jesus, as teenage Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. That's why I had to think about. He died at 33, but at 30 years old is when he started the mission like that. That's when he started doing his miracles.
And again, what we just said, if it was his birthday, December 25th was his birthday, then Jesus, Jesus, he made no reference to stating that his followers should observe his birthday anyway. It was his death.
Yeah. Death, burial, and
death
resurrection.
is what we're supposed to remember. His sacrifice is what made it possible for us to be saved. You know the story.
Yeah. Joe, you write so much about that because there's so many things that we'll just take for granted. Like, you know what, let's just do this. Let's do that. That's so important. This is so important. And it was not about the importance of that, because it just was the importance of what he did for us, him taking our seat when we was guilty and he wasn't. You know what I'm saying? So and it got blown up out of even on Easter. The day of the resurrection, the Easter bunny, man will put anything in there to try to make so. Easter bunny takes that kind of, they call it when the Easter kind of time. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So the Easter bunny comes collect that money on that kind of time. That's when you got children looking for eggs and hiding paint color eggs. I'm not saying spoil every little kid's thing, but tell children I'd rather sit around and tell my children about the sacrifices our Lord did for him than to talk about Saint Nicholas or a fat dude coming down the chimney. You know, that's what it's turned into now because of economics.
They can't even fit down the chimney.
Ain't no way in the world Santa Claus gonna fit down the chimney.
Sometimes.
And half people in the ghetto ain't got no chimney, no way.
You know, come down the chimney, you might get shot.
What?
In the ghetto.
Man, you hear a noise. Hey. So, you know, and because of the economic status, you got people that don't get things all year, so you got them real excited and children excited about, I'm finna get something. So you got children playing to their parents like that. So ain't nothing that can bug a parent worse than a child.
All this ties into the distractions, you know.
Yeah.
These things are distractions, it's misinformation, keeps you caught up in this cycle, because every year it's the same thing. This time of year comes, everybody goes into like robotic mode. It's like, okay, you gotta be nice. You gotta be nice now. You know what I'm saying? Like, just all of a sudden, you just gotta go into tis the season to be jolly.
Yeah, fa la 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 la.
For like what? Months? Like
2-3 days. Dog, man, people cut me off already.
Yeah, because right after, yeah, that's real. Because right after the holiday, you know, they had their little Black Friday sales, and like people be animals, savages, all over again, ripping people clothes off and like stomping on people. It's wild out here, son.
We forgot to cover Black Friday. What the real meaning of that was? Why they still buying TVs on that? But we'll get to that. We on Christmas and New Year's now.
Yeah. Because we gonna break down the history of Christmas customs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If y'all would care to know. And like I said, y'all can look all this stuff up. You know what I'm saying? It's broken out here. It says, celebrating Jesus' birthday. We talked about this. The early Christians did not celebrate Jesus' birthday because they considered the celebrations of anybody's birthday to be a pagan custom. The World Book Encyclopedia. That's in the World Book Encyclopedia. You can read it yourself. December 25th. There is no proof that Jesus was born on that day. Church leaders likely chose this day to coincide with pagan festivals held on or around the winter solstice. That's the trick we was talking about.
Yeah.
They wanted these dudes to, you know, like celebrate their holiday. So they was like, y'all shouldn't do that. Y'all should do this one and be in trouble. For real. Number 3, gift giving, feast, and partying. The Encyclopedia Americana says Saturnalia, a Roman feast celebrated in mid-December, provided the model for many of the merry-making customs of Christmas. For this celebration, for example, were derived the elaborate feasting, the giving of gifts, and the burning of candles. The Encyclopedia Britannica notes that all work and businesses were suspended during Saturnalia. So, number 4, Christmas lights. According to the Encyclopedia of Religion, Europeans decorated their homes with lights and evergreens of all kinds to celebrate the winter solstice and to combat evil spirits. Number 5, mistletoe holly. The Druids ascribed magical properties to the mistletoe in particular. The evergreen holly was worshipped as a promise of the sun's return. The Encyclopedia Americana. Number 6, Christmas tree. Tree worship, common among the pagan Europeans, survived after their conversion to Christianity. One of the ways in which tree worship survived is in the custom of placing your Yule tree at the entrance or inside the house in the midwinter holidays. Encyclopedia Britannica. You can look that up in that. So if you were celebrating these holidays because you viewed it as a connection to something spiritual, I hate to disappoint you, but that's not the truth.
That's real. We was peeping. I'm doing the research thing when I'm looking up. In 1848, Prince Albert of Germany, he just happened to he put a Christmas tree inside of his house and took a photograph with his family. And from then, that kind of situation just blew up and people start putting Christmas trees in the house right there, too, from the royalties. But
hate to disappoint
nothing
you,
to do with God, though.
Well, I hate to disappoint you, but I'm very happy to be providing you with the truth. Celebrating Christmas on the basis that it was the birth of Jesus Christ is false beliefs, and it's simply not true. Simply not true. Bottom line.
And what I would say about that, had it been Just like I was giving the scenario about my grandmother's birthday. You know, she didn't have one, so they, you know, made her up one just to, it wasn't the day she was born on, but they honor that day. Now, that's like they taking my grandmother's birthday and putting her all the way out, and they giving gifts to each other. You know what I'm saying? The main premise of if you are going to celebrate, if you is going to turn nigger into nigger, like how we say, you know, things like that, we took a word that was, you know, meant for us for demeaning, and we turned it into an endearment. You know what I'm saying? So if you were going to do that, but don't forget about, okay, why are we going to endear this kind of thing? And it's gotten way out of that because of economic status, or, you know what I'm saying, the growth of social economics and things like that. This is what's taken being able to celebrate the birth, not knowing when Jesus was born, but to be able to be like, you know what, I do want to honor that. But by the commercialization of it, look how much money's being spent. Look how many batteries alone, not even to forget about the toys or the electronic gifts you get. And the batteries alone is enough to keep a small country afloat for a year.
Yeah, truth. Real talk, you know what I'm saying? So now we're going to talk about, for people that just be like, you know, they just like to celebrate it because, you know, because it's family time, you know. So, you know, or to believe that, you know, some people feel that Christmas is just a time, you know, to just to get together with your family, share a nice meal, right, give gifts to each other, you know what I'm saying? But just because a person may not celebrate it for religious reasons still necessarily mean that it's okay to celebrate it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's looked at as a pagan holiday and a distraction.
Yeah.
Like we said, you know what I'm saying? So, and again, like we said earlier, like, you know, no matter how clean we try to make something, you know what I'm saying, we may take it, you know what I'm saying, we may view something unclean, and then, you know what I'm saying, like we may try to pick it up and make it clean, dust it off.
Yeah, it's still up, still
dust it off, but, you know, wash it off. But, you know what I'm saying, like, if it came from something that's dirty, it's gonna always be done that's something that came from something dirty.
That's true. That's like building a new house on a burial ground,
right?
And wondering why it's haunted.
And once he deems it unclean, there's nothing else we could do. It should be a dead issue. If he says unclean, if God says unclean, it should be a dead issue.
Yeah.
And I ain't just talking about like y'all. I'm talking about like, bro, even me too. There's some things I do, you know what I'm saying, that I know that I shouldn't be doing. It should be a dead issue.
Yeah.
With the stuff we gotta fight through.
Thought we was talking about that.
You know, like doing this research is helping me too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like researching this stuff is like helping me. Like, oh man, you know, like for real.
Even the things that, I'm glad you said that, because it's a lot of things that we ain't trying to put just this kind of thing. It's a lot of things that you got to police about yourself. That, hey, you know what? This don't coincide with the things that I'm talking about. We realize it's stuff that we put in information out, like, hey man, certain things that we've done in the past can't continue on in the future like this. You know what I'm saying? Realizing things that we've done wrong, or things that, you know, is against God. Certain things got to go. And I think people should leave room for people to even have that kind of thing too.
Like, it says that, you know what I'm saying, if you know God and you know the one thing that he hates the most is a liar. So if something originated from a lie, like I said, it should be a dead issue. You know what I'm saying?
Without question.
And the reason we all in this mess right now is because the devil told the first lie. That's why he hates liars so much. A little white lie, you know what I'm saying?
Sure, look.
Some people might say, you know what I'm saying?
Like a little poison in some water. A little poison in the pool of water still kill everybody that jump inside that pool. A drop of poison, that's a little bit of lie.
Right, so this is why he feels so strongly about this, you know, when he tells us to stay away from certain things, because, you know, because of the origins. We may not can see it because it's glamorized, it's lit up,
yeah,
it's glossy, shiny. You know what I'm saying? But they spoiled at the roots. There ain't no saving them.
No.
because they spoiled at the roots. You know what I'm saying? Now, for the people that like to use Christmas just as family and friends gathering, there's nothing wrong with families coming together, having a good meal, a good time, or even giving gifts to each other. You know what I'm saying? But why does it have to be on this particular day? There are no stipulations or laws stating that you can only get together with your family on certain holidays.
You know what? Actually, I'm glad you even said that too. I'm glad you said a couple of things, bro. But I'm glad you said this here because family actually should see each other more than Thanksgiving,
why wait?
or Christmas or your birthday or whatever. It's got to be maybe 3 times a year. I mean, once you grow up and live out the house and all that kind of thing, people move different places. And I understand geographically you may not always be or financially be able to go see your family and stuff like that. But you know what? That should be made a point to do just like anything else, just like breathing or drinking some water. It should be the same way. You want to see your family. Hell, we got some devices that you can see them on your FaceTime or whatever it is. You got to look at them on your iPad, whatever it is, but spend more time with family. It doesn't have to be a holiday. And they've convinced us that it's only the holidays now that we got to go see our family. And that's a travesty, bro.
Yeah. And I never understood how some people can make no effort to be kind or to help others until that season to be jolly comes along, and then they put on the fake I'm so married, Merry Christmas, joy to the world facade. And right after the New Year's, it's right back to the same old you.
Hey.
Nigga, I ain't got it.
All that.
I ain't got it, nigga. Hold on. I'll get back to you.
Man.
For real. No, you know what I'm saying?
Straight ain't even answering the phone.
When in reality, that's how you're supposed to act all the time. You know what I'm saying? Not just at a certain time of the year. Now, Christmas just passed, and I'm quite sure y'all seen all the commercial ads and all the movies and TV shows basically prompting people to get into the Christmas spirit. Like the Christmas spirit. What exactly is the Christmas spirit? The Christmas spirit. Well, for people that partake in this holiday, that spirit, these are the things the so-called Christmas spirit is supposed to consist of. If you let them tell it. Remembering Jesus, sharing in the joy of giving, helping the needy, spending time with your family, and promoting peace. Now, this really seems like something we should be doing. Everything I just read sounds like it's something we should be doing every day. Every single day.
But look at how this go. We ain't even. Today's the 7th of January. You know, we pre-do this thing, so I ain't tripping off of the dates, y'all. Y'all know what it is. But today's the 7th of January. So that mean the 25th was what? 10 days ago?
Yeah.
11 days ago, whatever it was. And currently the country's at war with a whole nother. So that goes. You could check peace off the list.
Yeah. All that.
You can take that off right now.
We just talk about spending time with family. Like people, like most people do that. You know, but it's crazy. Look what an Oklahoma governor said by the name of Brad Henry. He said many who celebrate Christmas find it difficult to achieve any of those goals during the holiday season. Christmas time often tends to be hectic, stressful, and above all, commercial.
He never lied.
So if this is a time to be peaceable, to relax, enjoy downtime with your loved ones, why does it always seem so hectic for people? Why are people always stressed out over time? That it should be everything but that.
That damn gift exchange. That'll send you through a whole.
I hate going
something.
anywhere to shop around Christmas time and New Year's, bro. People act like savages. We were just talking about that. People act like savages. They be rude as hell. You know what I'm saying? They literally act like animals.
Shit.
Fighting over certain items, fighting over TVs and
Word.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, you think gangster's something? Check. You ain't never seen a housewife. They're trying to look for one toy. You know what I'm saying? For their child. You ain't never seen that fury in their eyes. You know they gonna scrap in there. I seen it, man.
The whole thing is you should not need a special occasion to get together and hang out, like with your family members or your friends, to have dinner or a drink with your family or friends, even to give them a gift. You know what I'm saying? You walking through the mall, you see oh man, what's the name? Really like that? I'm gonna go and grab it for them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and then ain't nothing wrong with doing that on a regular Monday. Even for your wife, for your children, for your homie, you say, hey man, my homie might like that, or my girl might like that. Let me get her this real quick. Dog, I bought my wife something like that one time, man. It was a Tuesday. I remember because the cashier told me, because I knew my wife's size, and I bought her a dress when I got off when I was working one time, you know what I'm saying, a long time ago. And the lady said, oh, this cool. Was this for her birthday? I said, nah, this is Tuesday. That's why I remember when it was Tuesday, you know what I'm saying? She said, man, you know what, that's cool, but it shouldn't have had to be her birthday or no thing or no special holiday or Valentine's Day. They always get us with something that we got to put our wallets out, and then you get people confused because now they attach your love for them for a monetary compensation. So if you didn't get them nothing for Valentine's Day, you don't love them. You didn't get to get them nothing for Christmas, you don't love them. It's like, hey, I love you the whole time. Finances might not match up with the love, and that shouldn't take that apart. But the way that this superficial holidays have commercialized everything, your love is attached to dollar signs. And that's just the way that they program things to be. That's the way it's been, man.
Right, so it's all about the whole purpose of this show, as we always say, it's basically just to open up the minds, get people to thinking for themselves, researching for themselves, and just checking up on certain things. Look a little closer at the news, pay a little more attention. I know it's some sad things on the news. A lot of people say, I don't like watching the news. There's a lot of bad news. Yeah, it's a lot of bad news, but it's a lot of important signs that people is missing, or the things that's going on. You know what I'm saying? You need to pay more attention to that, and maybe we need to pay less attention to. We all love football, sports, basketball, whatever.
Show you right.
Whatever you love watching, but we still got to pay attention. We got to pay attention to what's going on out here, because it's like you can feel the world is changing. It's like I said in the song, it's very different now.
Yeah, time's running out. The world is different. That show is.
It's very, very different, and you can feel it. You can feel the spirit of the world. It's a real dark one. You know what I'm saying? And all these things, like we said, are meant to be distractions. Are meant to keep us misinformed. We got to do away with all that. We got to maybe come off the internet sometimes.
Yeah.
Like for real.
Television, the whole thing, because the more we watch these things, the more we watch somebody else, the more we watch all these man-created kind of things, we forget the God that's inside of us.
Right.
And we forget who he says we are. Not who we say we are, but who he calls us more than conquerors. He calls us peculiar people, you know what I'm saying, when you're inside Christ. He also calls us, from a royal priesthood. So when you're looking at the world and sometimes you don't average out to what the average or to the billionaires doing or this one, that, you could think less of yourself because of economics. But we got to remember, spend time with family, man. The jewelry always is not around our neck. Sometimes it's inside the house. Sometimes it's just looking at your little cousin like, man, look at my little cousin right there. Or look at my little sister. Or look at my brother or my mother right there. Those are the jewels that we have inside of the house, is the jewelry box. So we pay more attention to the big house instead of paying attention to the jewelry inside there. That's all we saying. Spend time with your family. It don't have to just be on Christmas, man, or on a holiday.
Exactly. And on that note, thank y'all for tuning in again. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram at Truth Talks 99. Follow us if you have any questions you would like to ask us about the show, or any ideas on topics you would like to hear us talk about. You can hit us on asktruthtalks@gmail.com. That's asktruthtalks@gmail.com. Hit us up, y'all. And until next time, remember, the truth is always talking.
Sometimes you gotta just shut up and listen.
Shut up and listen. Peace.